On February 15th in 2006, Pastor John Piper wrote a letter to his congregation entitled "Don't Waste Your Cancer." It began, "I write this on the eve of prostate surgery. I believe in God's power to heal by miracle and by medicine, and I believe it's right and good to pray for both kinds of healing. Cancer is not wasted when it's healed by God. He gets the glory, and that is why cancer exists. So, not to pray for healing may waste your cancer. But healing is not God's plan for everyone. And there are many other ways to waste your cancer. I'm praying for myself and for you that we will not waste this pain." Piper then goes on to list 10 ways that he has already learned that his cancer will be wasted if he does not learn the lessons that God has for him in this trial. The Apostle Paul also wrote a letter to one of his congregation, the Philippian church. And in much the same way, he purposed to pass on to them what he had learned in the midst of his many difficulties and adversities during his missionary journeys. He says that in chapter 4, verses 10 to 13, "Not that I'm speaking of being in need, for I have learned in whatever situation I am to be content. I know how to be brought low, and I know how to abound, and in every circumstance I have learned the secret of facing plenty and hunger, abundance and need. I can do all things through him, through Christ, who strengthens me." It was John Piper's article, along with scripture like this one, that has been a catalyst for me to pause and consider what it is that God might have me learn amidst the coronavirus shutdown. In it, I believe the ultimate goal should not be to get back to normal, but to consider what God is up to now in my life, what he wants me to learn, and what he wants you to learn in the midst of your shutdown. That you and I would not waste it waiting for things to get back to normal, but to look for and to pray, "God, what do you have and want me to learn now about you and my relationship with you?" I wish that I had 10 great lessons to share with you that God has revealed to me, that I should not waste during this time of upheaval and social distancing. Certainly, with the apostle, one thing I should learn is to have a sense of contentment during this moment, knowing that he will strengthen me during its duration. Yet, by God's grace, I will seek to communicate another one that I have learned. I miss the church. No, I'm not talking about a building that's located at 17455 Old Frederick Road, Mount Airy, Maryland, 21771. Not the building. I'm talking about you, God's people, who have a history of regularly gathering together there each Sunday morning and worshiping the living God and caring for and supporting each other during the week. Yes, I am thankful for communications by email and text and phone and Zoom with individuals and groups. Also for having the blessing of being able to record and watch online services. But this is not the wonderful blessing that God has planned for his people for now and throughout all eternity. The New Testament Greek word for the church is ecclesia. That means the called out ones. The church is the people of God who are called out of the world to be saved and then to regularly assemble to worship the living God as his people. These people who gather each and every Lord's Day and then are scattered through the week to proclaim, much like the demon-possessed man who was freed of them by Jesus, converted, made in his right mind, and then he went home proclaiming how much Jesus had done for him. So with the enforced social distancing due to the coronavirus, we know what it is to be the scattered church, and now for an extended period of time, and we long to be together again as the gathered church. I'm not always the best at expressing my own feelings, so when I read this as part of an announcement from one of John MacArthur's ministries, I thought I would quote from it to help express my thoughts about you and missing the church. We have all longed to be in fellowship together during these times and are now eagerly starting to gather together as restrictions are removed. John Fawcett, who was orphaned at the age of 12, was also converted by the preaching of George Whitefield at the age of 16, wrote in 1782 the words, "To blessed be the tie that binds. Blessed be the tie that binds our hearts in Christian love. The fellowship of kindred minds is like to that above. Before our Father's throne, we pour our ardent prayers. Our fears, our hopes, our aims are one, our comfort and our cares. We share our mutual woes, our mutual burdens bear, and oft for each other flows the sympathizing tear. When we are called to part, it gives us inward pain, but we shall still be joined in heart and hope to meet again." We not only long to be united in fellowship with our church body now, but we continue to look forward to that day when all the saints are together in the new heavens and the new earth with complete joy for all eternity. I'm rejoicing because of the news from yesterday that Maryland and particularly Howard County will be moving into stage 2 of the recovery tomorrow. That means that we're now able to meet together with 50% of our building's capacity, of course, as long as we keep the social distancing. So we are purposing to follow all of the best recommendations and guidelines to meet safely. So whether we meet outside or inside, we will be doing that, but gathering together, and worshiping the living God. So please pray especially for your elders and deacon and our church's committee to help us plan to regather with each other again soon as Mount Airy Presbyterian Church. This portion of the people of God